Hello and welcome to the fourth progress update video of the development of this game. A decent amount has changed since the last time I gave progress update. Well, pretty much, like, on the screen, it may not seem like too much has changed, but when it comes to under the hood, how things work, pretty much everything's changed to an extent. First off, UI sort of got the basics of what the little hotbar down there will look like. So far, it's just an indicator of the jetpack's fuel level. That's all that is. And then up here is just a temporary debug thing, sort of like the F3 menu in Minecraft. Just like debug stuff's up there. Yeah. I believe I've shown the inventory screen before. Actually, I don't think so. I don't think there was an inventory screen before. Yeah, there's an inventory screen now. And so when I pick up items, they show up in there. Aha. Yes. And so probably the next biggest thing is command console. So from here, I can do command stuffs. Here's a list of all commands available thus far. For example, I can give item test item. I want 300 of it. Yes, now I have 300 of test item. And I can just do other things like that. For example, I can summon Dendron. Yes, and now we've got a Dendron. Hotkey still works, but, now there's a command that does it. Except the command can do more than just summon Dendron. For example, I can summon item. Gotta put in coordinates to give data. Yes, and that'll summon a test item. Woo! Look at those Dendron go. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed, is apparently every so often they'll decide that they want to go ever so slightly faster than the player. Oh well, not a big deal. Probably the biggest change as far as things that the player wouldn't notice is quads. Yes. So, in Love 2D, there's a thing called quads. It's pretty much guaranteed that it's something that's available in just about any language or library that deals with 2D graphics or 3D graphics even, but potentially by different names. Don't know, never checked before. Only ever experienced this type of mechanic in Love 2D, but then again, I've never really looked for it in other languages, so basically what quads are meant to be used for is if you have a sprite sheet. For example, I suppose one example of a sprite sheet would be like a character font. So you've got the image for your A, your image for your B, and they're all in just one big file, and then the way quads would work is you would tell it, okay, I want to render to this image, but only this part. And yeah. So I guess people who understand what quads are will probably be able to understand what quads are based on what I just said, because they probably already understand what quads are and didn't need that explanation. Other people, well, yeah, I can't help you. Basically, what I'm using it for is I'm only rendering what's visible now. Because before, when I went to render the level here, I rendered the entire thing, everywhere. Everything was being rendered all the time, but now it's only rendering what's visible. So I guess that's all you really need to know about quads, is they allow me to do that. And yeah, that provides significant performance boosts. I haven't noticed them using this computer that I'm on right now, but on my little dinky laptop that I use to develop with when I'm not home, I do notice it on that. So yeah, that's a thing. And also, entities won't render unless they're visible, unless they're set to always render, in which case they will always render. Quite obvious, that one, if you ask me, but, And the other thing that I've done is particle system. Yes. You probably noticed it whenever I picked up items so far. So far there's only one particle effect, the burst particle effect. It's also set to be triggered when I click the mouse button. Yes, that's the burst effect with one particle. Here's 2, 3, 4, 6 because I scrolled too much. But if I scroll a lot, you can see the number up there. Bam. So yeah, there's more configurations to it. Like I can configure how far out I want it to go, and how big I want the particles to be, and how long I want it to take. It's fun stuff. And obviously, as time goes on, there will be more different effects added to the system. But yeah, that's all there is so far. It's cool stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I can't really think of anything else that's changed. Really. Guess I can talk about all the fun that I had figuring out the quads. Really fun stuff. Because the way the quads work when you create them is you have to specify like an initial position and size within the image that you're quadding from. Which that's not really important because you can change that at any point in time. But the one thing you have to specify that you can't change later on is the size of the image that you're quadding from. So that's not a big deal. I just have to give it the size of this level here. And there you go. Problem is, when I was creating the quad for the foreground, I was accidentally giving it the height for the background. That created problems. Major problems. Problems that I did not figure out until a day later. And so, a day later of extremely frustrating debugging processes that got me nowhere whatsoever, I decided to actually check to see what heights and widths were being set to the quads, just to see if that had anything to do with it, because very first time I ever used quads, I don't know what things do. I just knew that they weren't working, and so I was just trying stuff. That's a notification if you heard that. Yeah, and so I looked up a function that I could use to get the current height and width, the reference stuffs for the quads, because I was too lazy to go around and figure out where things were and stuff's doing this beginning stuff's. Just, yeah. Really not an issue there, just a convenience thing. But while I was trying to figure out how to use this function, I noticed that it wasn't working. And I was looking at the online documentation. I had everything right, but it wasn't working. It took me about 15 minutes to realize I was on the wrong version. Hooray. That was not fun. But yeah, it's all working now. Bursts. Woo! Guess I could use that as a ripple effect if I ever need to. Woo! I guess if I set up a way to customize colors, which pretty easy to do, I could do a firework effect by triggering multiple ones of different colors in the same spot. Yeah. Celebration time. Woo! Celebrate! Yeah. So yeah, I guess that'll do it for now. See you in the next one. Oh, that's another thing, if you heard that.